constructors. Constructors are used to initialize objects. In Java, there are generally two types of constructors are there. One is default constructor and parameterized constructor. The default constructor means if we are not specified any constructor, even though the Java will consider that as a constructor. That is called default constructor. If we are explicitly written constructor and we are not passing any argument to that constructor is called no argument constructor. That is like this. This is the object creation. In that object creation, the class will have empty parameters. This is no argument constructor. Parametric constructor is we are passing arguments to the class. These are the types. The constructors are similar to methods. This is the difference between constructor and methods. Constructors, as I said earlier, it is used to initialize state of an object, whereas a method is used to expose the behavior of an object. It is used to list the statements to manipulate the data. A constructor must not have a return type. That is, constructor is a special type of member function which should not have a return type. Every method should have a return type, but constructor won't have. The constructor is invoked implicitly. That is, we need not to write a constructor call statement in the program, but method should be invoked explicitly. The constructor is automatically called when an object is created. This is the object creation statement here. Class O equal to new class. In that time, the constructor is automatically called. The Java compiler provides a default constructor if you don't have any constructor in the class. This is in the default constructor. The method is not provided by the compiler in any case. The constructor name must be same as the class name. This is a feature of the constructor. That is, constructor is a special type of member function which should not have return type, and the name of the constructor must be same as the class name. But the name of the method may not be the same as the class name. These are all the difference between constructors and methods. Let's see the types of constructors one by one. Default constructor. Default constructor. Anyway, the constructor should have the name same as the class name, and it is other than that everything is same as a method. Here we are having a class student. If the class name is student, the constructor name should be student. The same. It is case sensitive, so that we are writing the S as capital S and student. This is the constructor. We are not passing any argument to that constructor. This is called default constructor. Here we have no statements and no arguments. This is the main function. The object creation. Here we have not written any constructor call programs, because constructors are automatically called when the objects are created. This is the object creation statement. In that time, the constructor is automatically called. If we are having some statements here, after the object creation, the statements are executed. We have not given any value to that number, so that the output of the program is 0. This for the default constructor. This is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor is the constructor with parameter. The constructor name is same as the class name. Here, these are the parameters. We are passing two parameters, number 1 and number 2. Here, this dot number represents, it will point to the current object. That is, the parameter value number 1 is assigned to the current object, current invoking object. Here, the object is yes. Yes dot number is assigned with the value passed by number 1. Here, number 1 is 20, number 2 is 50. This is parameterized constructor. If we are writing a parameterized constructor, we need to pass the parameter values here. After the name, class name, you have to give the argument values 20 and 50. This 20 and 50 is assigned to the number 1 and number 2. Here we have assigned the values so that the output of this program is number 1 is with 20, number 2 is with 50. Here, this is object creation statement. In that statement, the constructor is automatically called. Okay.